Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Um, First off, it seems as of today they are having a $20 referral credit. So if anybody is interested in setting up a M1 account that hasn't done it already, if you click the link, which I'll have at the bottom in the description, we'll both get 20 bucks. So it's, if you were thinking about doing it anyways, it helps you, it helps me. But that's just something you can do if you're interested. All right. So, as of the year, I've made 15.71% in returns. This goes back to March 4th because I didn't have any money when I liquidated my account back in October. So it's going back to March 4th, 2019. But it was pretty much a year, and I'm up 15.71%. Now the S&P was like almost 30% for the year. So if I would have just invested in the S&P 500, I'd definitely have been better off as far as returns. And pretty much from what I've read, and this is an excellent book by John Bogle, the Little Book of Common Sense Investing. He basically lays into detail how it's very hard to beat the S&P 500, and if you just invest your money in that, you're usually well ahead of the game. I mean, for the most part, he he goes into detail how like even the best investors, people manage hedge funds and accounts like that, they consistently do not beat the S&P. It's a pretty good book. It's very interesting. It's actually one of the main ways I invest. And if you're interested in doing that, you can do it through M1. It's pretty easily. If you just go into you go to research funds. Here's here's one of the funds, VOO. It's Vanguard. It's actually Jack Bogle's. He's the one who started Vanguard, and if you put your money in that, over the long run, from the most of the books I've read, it's very hard to beat the S&P, and you're going to get the market returns. As you can see, it did 28.7%. There's other S&P funds. I just like Vanguard because their fees are so low. Schwab has some very good low funds as well. But if you don't know anything about investing and you just want to get what the whole stock market gets, you can either do the VTI, which is the total stock market, or the S&P 500. You get that, maybe a index fund in like foreign total stock market, and maybe a couple bonds, some foreign bonds and U.S. bonds, and it's a pretty well balanced portfolio if you do it that way. But what I'm doing with this account is I'm going for dividend income, and I know I'm not going to be getting the returns the S&P does every year. But what I'm looking for, if I go into my activity, if I go activity type, just show only dividends. As you can see, every day, almost every day, I've been getting dividend payments. And I mean, these are all dividend payments just for the month of December. And that's what I'm trying to achieve with this account. My main accounts, I still use index funds, but like I said, this was an experiment, and you guys can learn from my mistakes and my successes. Don't, like I said, don't don't just listen to people on the internet. I'm I'm not an expert, but this is just something I'm doing, and you guys can watch me succeed and fail along the way. I try to show you guys everything and don't edit anything out. But for what I'm doing here, this is what I'm trying to achieve, is those dividend payments. For the year, I'm up $626.65, and I've earned $122.07 in dividends. Let's see, my best performing pie was my blue chips, which like I said, they're not all blue chip companies, but they're pretty much my favorite companies. They're all still large cap companies for the most part. Um, and then my Dividend Aristocrats was up 12%. So it was 18 in the blue chips and 12%. As a little side note, in my gamble pie, I had this is a pre-made pie from M1. It's not up there anymore, but it was a precious metal pie, and that's up 38%. And I've said before, I'm a very big precious metal bull, and I think they have a lot of room to run still. But that's one way of investing as well, is you get some mining companies. Now I prefer to hold the actual metal too, but for the most part, this pre-made pie that M1 had was actually doing very well. But they've been down a while for the past couple of years, so that's probably why it's regaining some of the losses it had over the years. But as far as my holdings, my my biggest gain as far as dollar amount has been in AbbVie, and it's up $101. As far as percentage wise, it was Apple with 52% or 52.84%, which Apple is doing good. I started buying it back when the PE was below 15, and it's paid off. As far as my worst performing stocks, as far as my biggest dollar loss, it's ExxonMobil with $11.70. And as far as percentage wise, it's GOF. It's down 10.34%. As far as my holdings, my my top 10 is hasn't really changed. AbbVie, IBM, Realty Income, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, SPHD, Kimberly-Clark, 3M, Lowe's, Costco. And I also, if you're interested in everything I have, I also in the link or the description below, I always list. There's a link that you can see my whole portfolio and see all the companies I have. But everything here, everything pays a dividend. Every company I own. As far as the amount of shares, the most shares I have is in Ford at 16.8. Then Gain at 13, Old Republic at 624, SPHD at 5.8, and my largest holding, AbbVie, I have 5.14 shares. And that's pretty much how the portfolio looks now. Going into the new year, I'm just going to keep adding and trying to get those dividend payments larger and larger. And I didn't beat the S&P this year, but that's fine with me, because for this exact portfolio, the strategy is to build passive income with dividends, and that's where I'm going from there. If you guys have any questions, comments, advice, anything you want to leave, comment below. I try to get back to everybody, and I hope you guys have a great year coming up with investing, and have a good one. Thanks for watching, guys.